reflect that Mr. Holmes is present with his attorneys and the prosecutors are present as well. We checked with the jurors who are absent from the courtroom at this time, and they indicated that they can all stay till 5:20. So that's what we asked about 5:20, and they said they could all stay here. So I think you can play that segment in its entirety.
Okay, and Your Honor, may I say something?
Yes.
There's like 2 minutes of questions I need to set up the video that I failed to ask, but that's it, very short.
Okay. I think we should make it around 5:20. I mean, they didn't say that 5:20 was the latest. That's what I asked about. So, lastly, let me just make sure that something in the record is not unclear. Right before the break, or right at the beginning of the break when the jury went out, I asked if there was any further clarification that was being requested. And Mr. King said, without waiving my objection. I think that with respect to the issue related to the holding in People versus Saravo, the only request that I remember was that I give the instruction in Saravo, and that's the instruction I gave. I understand that with respect to the issue related to the word prevented, that there was a motion to strike and there was a motion for mistrial. But on the issue of the limiting instruction from Saravo, my recollection was that I granted your request. Is there anything else that you're asking from the court with respect to that issue, specific issue?
No, Judge, I just wanted to clarify that you're right. The objection and the motion to strike was with regard to both the question and the answer given by the doctor. And my understanding is that the court overruled my objection and denied the motion for mistrial.
Well, it was with respect to the question and the answer about, was it also part of that standard that you're going to apply to this, that the defendant suffer from a disease or defect, a mental disease or defect that prevented him from forming the intent to commit murder after deliberation? That's where the motion, that's where the objection was made, and that's where the motion to strike and the motion for mistrial was advanced. And so with respect to that question and the answer that followed, you're not waiving your objection, your motion to strike, or your motion for mistrial. They have all been made. I believe that I have addressed the issue by ruling on the objection and on the motions that were made, and by requiring the prosecution to clarify things. But with respect to the separate issue, a separate question that involved the request for a limiting instruction under People versus Saravo, I granted what you asked me for as to that specific issue, that second issue, the latter issue that I just mentioned. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, let's bring the jury in, please.
Mystical thing. Once the video gets underway, could Dr. Reed be allowed to just leave the stand and sit down here in one of these chairs while the jury watches the video?
Is there any objection to that, Mr. King?
No.
All right, that's fine. Let's bring him in, please. Yeah. Oh, well, thank you for reminding me. Okay. Please be seated, everyone. The record should reflect that the jury is back in the courtroom. All right, Mr. Bruckler, you may proceed. And Mr. Bruckler, I'm being told that the jury can stay until 5:30 at the latest.
6 o'clock, yes, Your Honor. I want to do a little expectation management here that I should have done before we broke, and that is to ask you, when you start interviewing the defendant on the morning of July the 30th, 2014, down at the state hospital, do you jump right into the crime itself or the preparation for the crime itself?
No.
Why not?
First, I want to get to know the defendant a little bit, get him to get to know me a little bit, to begin to form as much relationship as feasible, learn some, for want of a better word, foundation things that he may want to talk about, make sure he knows why I'm there and who I am and what may be happening during the interview, things like that. That takes up half hour, maybe the whole segment, I'm not sure.
And is that what we're going to see on this first video clip?
At least the first part of it.
One last thing. We've heard that it's 22 hours, 9 segments. Did you give yourself that as a cutoff, or did that represent all the questions that you thought you needed to ask up until that time?
There certainly was no cutoff. There was one group of interviews, 6, I believe, one group of sessions, and then I left the state, let that settle a bit, studied the videos and the interviews, formulated other things that needed to be asked and explored, and came back for some more several weeks later. And there was no limitation on that from anybody.
Thank you. Your Honor, with the court's permission, can we then publish through the monitors People's Exhibit 1003 and ask that Dr. Reed be able to step down off the stand while that plays?
Yes. And Mr. Brockler, you're not requesting that my court reporter take down what's on the video, correct?
No, I'm not, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Very good. Finally, we get all this stuff put together. You remember me? Bill. Nice to see you. Come on in, why don't you have a seat? If you will. And they're going to leave us. Got you some juice. I said you like juice better than water, so I give it to you. Okay. Well, let me give you the explanation first, if I may. As I think you know, I'm a psychiatrist. I was appointed by the judge to evaluate you. My purpose is very, very similar to that of Dr. Metzner. Do you remember Dr. Metzner? Yeah. Okay. He met with you here, I think. Yes. About a year ago. My purpose is not to get involved in your legal strategy or anything like that.
Your Honor, I'm sorry to do this. I just wanted to ask if the court would inquire if we need to do something with the volume before we get too far into this process, or if that is audible enough for the jurors.
Can everybody hear that okay? Yes,
Thank you.
everybody's giving me a thumbs up and nodding their head yes. Okay, great.
I'm sorry for the interruption.
All right, thank you.
I work for the judge, but the results of my work, and it probably will be a report, those results, the report will go to the judge and the defense, your lawyers, and the prosecution. Any of them can call me as a witness if they want to, things like that. Let's see what else I can. I have here, I'm going to fill it out, a little form that basically says that I told you who I am and who I work for, things like that. It also says, if you want to take a look at it with me, it says that, of course, the things we talk about are not confidential. They may show up in a report, they may show up in testimony at some future time. We're videotaping all the interviews you and I will have. And I want to be sure that you know that and you recognize the camera back there. Several reasons for videotaping. One is to save me from having to take lots of notes. I'd rather listen to you than take notes. Another reason is to make sure that what I see in here is accurately gotten down. I think that pretty well covers it. You're welcome to sign one of those if you like that says you received it. You don't have to, and I will give you one to keep. Today's 30th. You're right. Okay. So it just says you got it is all. Thank you. Excuse me. Great. Now why don't you keep the one you have in your hand? Okay. It just says the same thing. I brought lots of records with me. I guess, do you have any questions about my role, why I'm here? Nope. What I'm going to do? Okay. I expect you and I will chat a couple of times today, a couple of times tomorrow, maybe on Friday. Probably less than 3 hours each time. It's not an endurance contest. If you need to go to the restroom or we need water or something like that, all you got to do is say so. First of all, how was the trip down? You came down a couple of hour drive, isn't it? From
I actually flew part of the way.
You flew?
Yeah.
That's interesting. In a regular plane or helicopter?
Propeller plane.
Okay. Well, how was the trip?
It was good. It was kind of stormy while we came down. So.
Small plane, storms, a little scary?
No, it wasn't that small plane.
Okay. I don't like flying myself, but...
I think it's fine.
Okay. All right. This is your second time to the facility here. Simhead, that's the way they say it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You're in the same area that you were in before?
Yeah.
A year ago? Okay. Some of the staff the same, or are they all new?
Some of them are new.
Okay. Okay. Treat me okay?
Yep.
How have they been treating you at the jail?
Yeah.
One of the things I notice about the jail is that it must be very isolated for you.
Yeah, I'm in solitary.
Can you frame for me the reasons that you're in solitary?
I think it was just because there was so much press in public. It would have been unsafe if I was with the general population.
Yeah, that makes sense. But on the other hand, it means you don't get to interact very much with other people.
That's true.
Are there people that you can interact with?
The guards, like when they bring me food and stuff.
Do they interact with you otherwise? Do they play cards with you or anything like that?
No, nothing like that.
Nothing like that. Okay. Oh, I neglected to mention, and I should. As you can tell, there's a great big window over there. The folks out there can't hear us. I can't hear them anyway. Do you have any concerns about privacy from them?
No, that's fine.
Okay, I think we're completely private for them. And I'm a little bit deaf. You can tell I'm wearing hearing aids. If you speak up just a little bit, it'll help me to hear. Okay. We've got lots of time to talk, and we don't have to cover everything, certainly in one day. Can you give me an idea of how you're doing now?
Just keeping to a routine.
To a routine of?
Exercise, reading, sleeping.
Okay. Are you getting a bit of exercise?
Yeah.
What kind of exercise are you able to get?
Well, I can do pacing in the cell, and then I do jumping jacks and sit-ups.
Okay. Do you get out of the cell very often?
Usually 2 hours a day. There's like a hallway, and it lives out there in like common area.
And when you do that, you're still by yourself, except for security?
Yes.
Okay. How about yard time?
They do have a yard, but I don't like it. It's kind of like an enclosed blocks. There's no grass or anything.
Yeah, it looked kind of stark.
Yeah, it's sparse.
As I talked with you, I noticed that your pupils are a bit enlarged. Is that normal for you?
They've been enlarged ever since I was in jail.
That's interesting.
They said it might have been because of the medications.
Okay. Does it trouble you? Are the lights particularly bright?
No, it doesn't bother me.
Before you went to jail, were they also sometimes enlarged, or do you recall?
No, they were just normal size.
Why do you suppose they're enlarged? I want to look a little bit more closely if you don't mind. Okay.
I don't know.
I don't either. Okay. Let me kind of go through, I'm going to start with some general things that I have written down here. I'm not very organized, so I have to organize myself. Did they tell you that you were coming
Yes.
here? Okay. How much notice did they give you?
Well, so the exact time, it was like last Friday. They told me that it would be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay. Was that the way it went last year?
Yeah, they gave me notice last year too.
Okay. How'd you feel about coming down here?
It's kind of a break from the normal routine.
Yeah, I don't think so. This seems like a better place to be than the jail.
They have better food at least.
Better food?
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't seen your room. Maybe you can show it to me a little later, but is the room nicer than the cell?
The cell's actually bigger because it's in medical and they can house 2 people per room. But since I'm solitary, I get the whole room to myself. So the cell's actually bigger.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay. I guess the first thing I'd like to do is get you to know you a little bit better. You and I've only met very briefly in Aurora a week or 2 ago. What's the first thing I need to know about James Holmes?
Could you be more specific? I don't know if that's good.
I'm a psychiatrist. I'm never specific. It's these open-ended questions, isn't it? What do you think people or shrinks should know about James Holmes to start off with?
That I'm kind of shy, I guess.
Okay. Kind of a shy fella. What do you mean by shy?
I don't like to talk a lot.
Is there anybody you like to talk a lot with?
Friends and family.
Friends and family. Have friends or family had any contact with you since you were arrested?
My family has, yeah.
Tell me about those contacts, would you?
They were in the jail visits, so they've come twice. And they usually write a lot of letters, like 1 letter a week.
They visited you in person twice
Yeah.
over 2 years.
Yep, once a year there.
2 years. Yeah. You remember the first time they visited?
Yep.
Tell me about that.
Well, they had some adventure at IKEA trying to get all this furniture and stuff, but the names were weird.
That was before you were arrested.
No, that was after I was arrested.
Oh, then I don't understand.
The first time they visited while I was in jail.
I don't understand then the adventure at IKEA.
They had an adventure in IKEA.
And what was that about? I don't understand.
Well, they were just trying to order a bunch of stuff, but like in the warehouse, everything was like different.
Was that the IKEA in Denver, Aurora area, or
San Diego.
in San Diego? Okay. And are you saying that's one of the things they talked about?
Yeah, it's one of the things they talked about.
I see. I was thinking differently. Okay. About when was that first visit?
I don't recall exactly.
You remember about how long it was after you were arrested?
Maybe 8 months after.
Do you remember the day you were arrested? What
Yep.
day? What day was that?
July 20th, 2012.
And obviously, I'm testing your memory a little bit.
Okay.
So they visited several months later.
Yeah.
Where did you meet with them?
Just in a visiting room in the jail.
Okay. Was anybody else there?
The lawyers were present too.
Okay. Other than the lawyers and your folks, was any security present, or was it private visit?
It's a private visit, but then the security are just outside.
Outside. Okay.
Could you stop here for a moment? I've been handed a note from one of the jurors that states that a few of us can't hear properly now, needed a little louder. The other note, by the way, asked if it was possible to turn the lights down to view the TV better, so I've dimmed the lights.
Judge, I hate to interrupt, but I know that the court gave the general limiting instruction after giving the clarifying instruction before, but I'm wondering if we should be giving the limiting instruction that's specific to the videotape at this point in time. I forgot to interrupt the court and ask for that when we started the video, and I apologize.
I agree. I blame Mr. King. No, I'm kidding. It is something the court should give, Your Honor, and I failed to ask the court myself.
All right. Members of the jury, I'm going to turn the lights on for a moment. There's an instruction I need to give you, and that is as follows. Dr. Reed's statements on this video recording may only be considered for the limited purpose of allowing you to evaluate the reliability of his examination and to provide context to the statements made by Mr. Holmes. You shall not consider any statements made by Dr. Reed on this video recording for any other purpose, including for the truth of their content. Does everybody understand that instruction? Yes, and everybody saying yes and nodding their head yes. Okay. Should I give the other limiting instruction that I've been giving again, just as a reminder?
Yes, sir. No objection.
All right. Again, I remind you folks that this evidence has been admitted only for a limited purpose. You may consider this evidence only as to the issues that are raised by the defendant's plea of not guilty by reason of insanity. You shall not consider this evidence for any other purpose. All right, I'm going to dim the lights again, and then we'll resume publishing the exhibit.
Your Honor, I don't know if your staff has access to any of that sound stuff where you can make things higher or lower, but if there's a way to lower the, I'm going to use the word bass, I don't know what I'm talking about, but if you can lower that so it doesn't sound so white noisy in the background, do you guys have the ability to control that?
I don't think we do.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
I don't think we do. I think it is what it is.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm going to dim the lights again.
you felt seeing your parents? You hadn't seen them in a long time.
Yeah, it felt good to see them. As for what we talked about, I don't remember what else it was.
It was a long time ago. They were other than your lawyers, they were the first people you saw after you'd been arrested, the first non-custody people.
No, I didn't see them immediately after I was arrested.
But I mean, no one else had come to visit you other than your lawyers? Until your parents?
Right. They were the first visitors besides my lawyers.
You were glad to see them.
Yeah.
Kind of an emotional time.
Yeah.
I would think so. They glad to see you too?
Yep.
Emotional for them?
Yeah.
How did they show the emotion? Do you remember? Sometimes moms break down a bit.
My lawyer said she broke down when she was leaving, but she held up pretty good while the visit was going on.
How about you? Did you get a tear in your eye?
Nope.
Do you ever get tears in your eye?
Yeah. Sometimes.
What brings tears to your eyes sometimes?
Just regrets.
Regret. Can you tell me a little more?
Usually it's before I go to sleep.
Regrets about?
About the shooting.
And usually before you go to sleep?
Yep.
Do you sometimes have trouble sleeping?
Sometimes trouble getting to sleep.
Because of?
I think it's just because I'm sedentary most of the time, so it's hard to get to sleep.
I certainly want to talk with you about the thoughts about the shooting and what occurred and stuff like that. But I'd like to hear a little more about you before we get into all that. We've got plenty of time.
Okay.
Your parents visited a second time. When was that?
I'm not sure of the exact time.
About?
Maybe 4 or 5 months ago.
What was that visit like?
It was good.
Can you expand on that a little bit?
They just talked about what was going on back in San Diego and how things were going.
You left San Diego 2010, give or take?
Yeah.
Still have friends back there?
They've moved all across the country since then.
You moved out to Colorado to go to school.
Yep.
Why'd you pick Colorado?
Well, for one thing, there's like interesting scenery and lots of things to do. And also the professor's research was interesting to me.
What were some of the interesting scenery and lots of things to do that you thought about?
Well, there's the Rocky Mountains. You can go on hike and stuff.
That's a pretty big deal. There are mountains in California, not quite like the Rockies.
Great.
And then the professor's research you liked. Do you remember what sort of research that was?
Auditory research, research on the hippocampus, research on microRNAs.
You applied to several schools in and got in at several, I understand, and then you chose Colorado over, was Illinois a possibility?
Yeah.
What were the others? Okay.
Illinois, Urbana-Champaign.
Okay. Any other things that made you choose Colorado over Urbana-Champaign?
They offered a training grant at Colorado that was almost twice as much as I would have gotten at Illinois.
That's fair. So how is the living on training grants and stuff? Is that enough to live on?
For me, at least, it is.
Okay. Going back a little before that, for a year you were between undergraduate and graduate school, right? Was it about a year?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me about that year.
Well, it was kind of a transition period. So I moved back home with my parents, so to save on rent.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got a job in a vitamin factory.
That was the pill coating, right?
Yeah, I was a pill coater.
Coating pills. I have no idea how people coat pills. How does that work?
There's like a big rotating steel drum, and you put the pills in there, and there's a bunch of nozzles that shoot and kind of spray the pill paint kind of on it.
And they need somebody to watch it because
the nozzles clog and there's temperature fluctuations. And somebody's got to put all the pills in and out of it.
it must dry very quickly or they'd stick together.
It's a very fine coating and it's fitting so it doesn't get stuck together. It's kind of rubbing against all the pills.
Okay. How long did you do that?
3 months.
Was it a good job, a mediocre job? Like it, not like it?
Mediocre job.
In what way?
Well, there's not that much kind of novel or new activities that present itself. It's kind of routine factory work.
Why did you choose that job?
I got offered it from the temp agency.
So it was a matter of necessity. You needed the job.
Mainly to get out of the house and kind of give my parents a break.
It was full-time at the time?
Yeah.
Okay. And why did you leave the job?
To go to all the graduate school interviews and then ultimately go to graduate school.
Okay. So you didn't get fired or let go or laid off or anything like that?
No, they'd offered me a permanent position there, but I went to graduate school.
You could have been a permanent pill coder?
Yes, I wouldn't have. I don't think I could do that permanently.
I think I understand. Any other jobs that you had during that year between...
No.
A big part?
No.
What was it like living at home with your folks?
It was all right.
You were grown up, come back home to save money on rent,
Yep.
but you're an adult at that point.
Yeah.
So what's it like living as an adult in home with your parents?
I like living independently in the apartment. They're kind of your own rules instead of house rules.
Within the house, what sort of accommodation did you have?
I had my own room. So,
Same room you had before you went away to college?
no, because my sister took over that room. Okay, she liked that room better than her room. So I got my sister's old room.
Okay. Sounds like it was in the main house and not a separate apartment in the basement or over the garage.
No, it's in the main house.
Not much privacy, I guess.
Well, they got their own room, so it's privacy enough.
Before that, you were at Riverside.
Yep.
me about were you there for 4 years?
Yeah.
Tell me about Riverside. I've never been on the campus.
Well, there's not much of a river there. I don't know why they call it rivers. But it used to be a citrus experiment station. And then it became a university.
Experiment station for what?
Testing out like oranges.
Oh, agricultural stuff.
Yeah, agriculture.
Okay. And tell me more about your college career there. I don't know very much about it.
Well, initially I went to live in the dorms, and that was fun because it was a dorm atmosphere, so you got to meet a bunch of people. Then I moved to on-campus apartments, and all the while I was studying neuroscience for a Bachelor of Neuroscience.
Did you start out with that major, or did you come into the major?
Yeah, I started out with that major.
So even before you got to undergraduate college, you were interested in majoring in neuroscience?
Right, in the application for admission, I listed neuroscience major.
Okay. You mentioned you stayed in a dorm for the first, how long?
First year.
Was that a requirement, or you chose it? Or?
No, it's just what most of the freshmen do.
Okay. So what's dorm life like? It's been a long time since I've been in a dorm.
It's been a long time since I've been in a dorm too. It's very communal, so you get to know people in the dorm.
How did that work for you? As a guy who you've already said you're kind of shy.
Yeah, so it kind of helped me kind of bridge between new people.
Tell me about some of the people you met.
Well, there was like, my roommate was an entomologist. He kept like tarantulas in his room and stuff.
Really? So did you handle the tarantulas?
I did. I wasn't happy about it though.
I've seen people let them crawl on their hands. You were able to do that?
Yeah, it's not poisonous.
Yeah. Interesting. You remember that roommate's name?
Dale Halbritter.
Dale
Halbritter.
Albritter. Whatever happened to Dale, do you know?
I think he moved to Florida to study entomology for a PhD.
Okay. So that was your roommate. Who else did you meet in the dorm?
I met a mechanical engineering major, computer science majors.
Was it a dorm that focused on science and engineering, or was that just
It was a
by chance?
honors dorm, so it was people who came in with high GPAs.
Wow. Okay. That's right. You did very well in both undergraduate and high school, didn't you?
Yeah.
Let me stick with college for just a minute, but I do want to hear about the high school. Tell me more about college life for James Holmes.
Well, I was like going out to dinner with friends, going to the dorm, dinner with friends, and sometimes partying, and lots of studying.
Lots of studying. Even smart guys have to study a lot.
Yeah, there's like no way around not studying.
Going out to dinner, are you getting a little money from home at that point? Do you have an outside job? Or?
I had a full ride, so I had my tuition paid for. And then my parents are really nice, and they paid for the dorm and kind of food expenses and stuff.
Okay. How nice is real nice? How much money did they give you?
I don't know exactly. I didn't count the means.
But it was enough to live okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a car?
Yep.
What kind of car was it?
Hyundai Tiburon. It's kind of a sporty coupe.
Okay. So some meals in the dorm, some meals out, and occasional party.
Yeah.
Tell me about the partying.
Well, what's there to tell? It's just partying. not
The
much.
rest of the party. The rest of the party.
I was just with friends and alcohol and drinking.
Did you drink quite a bit in college or not?
No, I wasn't a huge drinker. Only social.
What is social, what is that to you?
A place where drinking is a big focus, I guess.
Did you ever get so drunk you passed out?
No.
Really?
I'm part Irish.
Okay. So you can hold it better than that, huh? Did you ever get so drunk that you felt like you couldn't drive?
I would usually carpool with whoever.
Okay. Safe thing to do.
Yep.
Did you ever get so drunk that you did something that you didn't remember later?
Problem, but then I don't remember what it was. Yeah.
At these parties, what would folks be doing?
Talking, playing video games. That kind of thing.
Where might they take place?
At a house.
Anywhere else? At a bar, on a beach?
No, usually house parties or apartment parties.
What kind of folks would go to the parties?
Just my friends.
So far you've told me about 2 friends. I'm assuming there were more than 2 people there.
Yeah, I have more than 2 friends. Yeah.
Males, females?
Both.
Both. How about female friends in college?
I didn't have a girlfriend. I had female friends, so.
Okay. Things sometimes get wild at the parties.
I wasn't really partying that. That partying was like once a year type of thing. So
Say that again, I'm sorry.
partying was like once a year type of thing.
Oh, really?
So it's not,
Once a year partying.
yeah, it wasn't like a everyday partier.
I'm not sure that's going to be good for Riverside's reputation as a party school. If the parties only happen once a year.
Well, for me, since I was in the honors program and everything.
Okay. Did you have any difficulties that you remember in college, those undergraduate years?
No, it's pretty smooth sailing.
Academic difficulties, social difficulties, work difficulties, ceiling fell in on your head. Any difficulties you can think of?
No, it was pretty straightforward.
How far was your accommodation at Riverside from your home in San Diego?
I think it's an hour and a half at the speed I drive.
Which is
Fast.
fast. You drive pretty fast. Okay. Okay. See, I don't exactly know the Southern California geography.
Riverside's kind of inland of LA.
Okay.
It's a kind of logistical hub.
Okay. So beach party is probably out of the question.
You'd have to drive a lot of ways.
How often did you go back and forth to the home in San Diego?
Not very often, maybe once every 3 or 4 months.
Did your folks ever come up to Riverside?
Yeah, they checked it out. They took the tour, the initial tour thing too.
How did they feel about you going away to college?
I guess they were proud.
Proud?
Yeah.
Okay. You're the older of your siblings, right?
Yeah, I have a younger sister by about 5 years.
And I'll ask you a little bit about the family in a few minutes, too. Okay. Now let's go to high school. What was high school like?
It was good.
Tell me about it. Public school, private school, magnet school, charter school?
Public school, it was like newly constructed. We were the first full graduating class.
Okay. What kinds of things did you enjoy and not enjoy in high school?
I Math and science. And history.
Any particular kind of science?
Biology. I don't like physics very much.
Biology and math. What level of math did you get to in high school? I'm curious.
Like introductory calculus.
Okay. You had no trouble with that in high school, obviously.
No, I passed.
Sounds like you did more than pass. I've seen your grades. You were like summa cum laude or something like that. You had
Oh, they don't have that for high school.
like a 3.9 or something. Do you remember what your
For high school, I had 4.0.
4.0? Holy cow!
And then for college, I had 3.949 or something.
Wow. There's an interesting thing about that high school grade that I noticed in the records. And as you might imagine, I've looked at a number of records, and there are a lot of records I haven't seen yet. You had a 4.0 average, and yet you were like 80th in your class. How does that come about? The 4.0 sounds to me like you're
The top, yeah.
tied for number one or something.
Advanced placement classes, which are based on a 5.0 scale. So if you get an A in there, you go above the 4.0.
I see. Were you in a lot of AP classes?
Yeah, I took AP Computer Science, AP History, AP Calculus.
You mentioned history twice. What kind of history did you like?
I liked European civilizations better than U.S. history, I thought.
Really?
Yeah.
Any particular portion of European civilization?
It's been a while, but I guess like the monarchy of Louis XIV and everything.
Any particular reason you can think of that you liked European better than U.S.?
I think it was because it was more general and it wasn't like super specific compared to U.S. history because there's not as much U.S. history.
That's true. We've only been around, at least the Caucasian portion has only been around for a little less than 300 years. In high school, social life?
Yeah, go out with my friends and do stuff.
When you say go out with your friends, what friends, how many, where'd you go? I'm a curious person.
My friends were in high school, and I made my friends in middle school, like, and they continued on in high school.
Okay, so they traveled with you to the high school.
Yeah.
Okay. Males, females, mixture?
Mostly males.
Okay. What'd you guys like to do?
Play video games.
Any particular video games you liked?
StarCraft.
I'm trying to think what the video games were at that time. I don't remember specifically what it was about.
It's a real-time strategy.
Okay. Athletics of interest to you? Were they?
Yeah, I was in cross country and I played JV soccer.
Okay. Cross country and soccer. Tell me about cross country.
There was a lot of running. Yeah, so and it's usually like 100 people are in like one race or whatever.
So although you're out there running you're away from a stadium, etc., there are lots of people in the race.
Yeah.
Where would you be in that group at the end of the race?
Probably like 30th out of 100 or something.
Okay. So you held your own, it sounds like.
Yep.
Okay. Any other areas of track that you ran or that you did?
I did the 800 when I was in middle school on a track team.
Okay. or playing soccer into college?
I played intramural soccer in college.
College, okay. The whole 4 years?
No, just 1 year.
Okay. Was it an active team?
Yeah, we play other intramural teams.
And still defense?
Yep.
Okay. Have a girlfriend in high school?
No, though some asked.
No.
Some asked.
Some asked?
Yeah.
Okay, and you said?
I don't know what I said.
A lot of the high school kids I know would love to be asked. Did you go out when you were asked or no?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Nowadays I would ask how my boyfriend's.
No, I don't fly that way.
Okay. Okay. You know, I saw something in the record that was interesting, but I didn't know the context of it. I don't know whether it was when you were in high school or college. It was a video that you were in, I think. Do you recall making a video with some guys?
Probably for a school project.
Do you remember what that was about? What that was? What the video was?
No.
I'm remembering one in which it looks like the characters were playing war roles, or army roles.
It was on All Quiet on the Western Front by Hemingway.
Tell me what that was, because I couldn't figure it out from the video.
It was just a scene, I think, from the book.
Do you think it was for school?
Yeah, it was for school.
Tell me about the project. It sounds interesting.
Well, I don't remember anything else besides that.
Do you remember what part you played?
I think I was a soldier.
Did you operate the camera as well, or
No, I don't think so.
Any of the directing? You were a soldier.
Yeah.
I know one of the soldiers got shot and was laying face down. Would that have been you?
I don't remember.
Okay. I'm just curious. Any other videos or video type experience or dramatics that you recall?
I think there was a Salk video from the Salk Institute where I did a presentation on kind of temporal relations or something.
Tell me about that experience at the Salk Institute and what you did there.
The experience? Well, every Friday we'd have like a learning synopsis or something. And then most of the time we were working on the project in a lab.
How did you get to the Salk Institute?
I applied. It was an internship.
And when was this? Give me some context, if you would.
At the end of high school, before college. Internship.
So tell me about that. How did you find out about it? What made you want to do it? What did you end up doing?
Research project.
You were there for 3 months?
Yeah, I believe so.
Did you get paid for that?
Yep.
Imagine it looked good on your resume.
I guess so.
When you say computer programming for it, what sort of programming, what were you doing with that?
I was doing Adobe Flash programming. I made a Flickr Fusion utility. It's a way to tell the RGB values between different monitors. So there's like a flickering light, and then you adjust the red, green, blue so that it doesn't flicker, and that gives you a value specific to that monitor's resolution.
And what did that have to do with what the Salk Institute was doing?
That was what was happening in the specific lab lab I joined. So that was my project. And I had another project, which was to make a rock, paper, scissors game that had like and temporal illusion in it.
I don't understand.
So I had to make the rock, paper, scissors look like it appeared before you pressed your rock, paper, scissors in a rock, paper, scissors game.
Did it purport to predict yours or to beat you or what?
It created an adaptation, so it had a series of delays before it would show the rock, paper, scissors image. And then it built those delays so that you couldn't detect them normally. They were kind of subconscious. And then when it removes the delays, it appears that the computer goes before the person does.
Let me see if I understand. So it appears that the computer predicted the person's action when it didn't really? I'm not sure I understand.
Right, it predicts like the counter move to the human's move, but it shows it the computer's move first before you make your move.
I think I'm catching on. I think I'm okay. But the purpose was for the computer to beat the person.
Yeah, and make it look like the computer wasn't cheating.
Interesting. Was it pretty competitive to get that position for the summer?
Yeah, I think there were like 4 other people who were interviewing at the same lab I was, and then there were other labs too.
At that point, had you already gotten into Riverside?
I think the chronology of it was I had already got accepted.
Okay. What was the house like in San Diego?
2-story kind of Spanish villa, cookie cutter housing in suburbia. We had a pool in the back.
And you stayed in the same house the whole time that you lived in San Diego with your family?
Well, initially we lived in San Diego in a different house. We moved up north and then moved back down to San Diego. So we lived in a different house.
You moved back down from middle school, I understand it.
Yeah, at the end of 6th grade.
Okay. And then you stayed in that house for the duration?
Right.
Okay. And that house was the 2-story span?
Yeah.
The people in the house were
My family.
your family. Tell me about the family. Mom, dad, and I understand one sister.
Well, my mom's a nurse. I think she does more administrative work than kind of the hands-on nurse stuff. My dad's retired. He used to work in statistical kind of analysis, doing the ASVAB testing kind of thing. And then he went on to work in Fair Isaac, which works on countering credit card fraud, predicting models.
What was the name? You said
Fair Isaac?
Fair Isaac.
Yeah,
That's the name of the
of the company.
company. Okay. Okay. So both mom and dad were working when you were living there in middle school and high school?
Yep.
Okay. Sister was going to school?
Yeah.
How would you describe the family?
Typical suburban family.
And what's that for you, for Southern California? I've never lived in Southern California.
I don't know how to describe it.
Pick some adjectives.
Happy family. Is well-rounded.
Well-rounded. In the sense of what?
I don't know.
I don't either. I've been trying to read minds for years and I've never been able to. So kind of got to help me.
I just get well-rounded in general.
Is warm a word you use to describe the family?
Yeah, loving too.
I'm sorry?
Loving.
How did folks in the family show warm and loving?
Just talking to each other.
They touch each other much?
Hugs.
And how about you? Were you one of the warm, loving folks too? Was that a bit different from what you describe as a little shyness in other places?
I wasn't really shy around my own family.
Okay. Would you be a hugger too with the family?
Yeah.
Okay. Excuse me. Tell me about your sister.
Well, she's really into making music, writing songs, playing on the guitar. And she's friendly. Adventurous, I guess.
Interesting. Has she been all those things since you were younger? Since she was younger?
Yeah.
What's your relationship, prior to being arrested, what's your relationship been like with your sister?
Caring. And supportive.
And what?
Supportive.
Supportive. When you were in high school, she was then 5 years younger.
Yeah.
Would you see her regularly in the house? Or would you be off doing other things? Or?
In the family room or in the backyard.
Almost a kid sister, not quite. Did she get in the way of some of the things you and your friends wanted to do? Was she a pest or no?
Sometimes when I was younger, she was kind of a little intrusive. Wanted to do exactly what I was doing, that kind of thing.
She must have looked up to you.
Yeah.
What did she think of her big brother?
Well, you'd have to ask her.
Yeah, you know what did she think of her big brother?
I don't know.
You can speculate.
Just that I was a good big brother, I guess.
Did you protect her, or did you need to protect her a bit, or no?
There was no need to protect her from me.
Then you went away to college, hour and a half, 2 hours away from the house.
And then I usually didn't see her because I was away at college.
Write back and forth, call back and forth, email, text.
No, we kept pretty much apart, I guess.
Did you know what was going on in her life?
Not that much.
Did she keep up with what was going on in your life?
I don't think so.
Send you emails or?
No.
You have enough juice there?
Yeah.
To wet your whistle? You mentioned that your folks write to you pretty regularly. Do you hear from your sister much?
She came on the last visit. I got to hear what she was up to.
What was it like for you to see her?
Pretty much the same as seeing my parents.
And that was?
Just a good experience.
How did she react to seeing you?
Just normally.
her, I kind of have to look at it through your eyes. How did she react to seeing you?
Whatever normal is, like, I guess that's what it is.
Can you show me a mental picture or video picture of what that was like? What she looked like when she saw you?
Well, she was glad to see me. She wasn't sad or anything.
Did she or your parents seem concerned about you?
My mom seemed concerned.
In what way?
Just to see if I was doing okay and everything.
How about your dad?
He wasn't like showing the concern at least.
Sis?
She didn't show any concern either.
Do you think they were concerned even though they didn't show it, or do you think they just didn't give a darn?
I think they were concerned.
Do you get any letters from your sister?
Nope. Mainly my mom and dad write the letters.
Has your sister not written you at all?
I think she wrote me once, but I'm not sure.
What do you think of that?
I guess pretty much we're living different lives.
Is lack of contact what you would expect from your sister and your relationship with your sister?
Yeah, since pretty much it was the same since I've been in college.
But you described a pretty normal brother-sister relationship.
Right.
And now what you're describing is almost no brother-sister or sister-brother relationship.
Yeah, we kind of went in separate directions.
Sounds more than that.
Well, I don't know what. Just
You ever wonder why she doesn't write?
no, I never really thought about it.
Really? You love your sister?
Yep.
You believe she loves you?
Yeah.
I'm still curious about why she doesn't write.
I don't know. You'd have to ask her why she wasn't ready.
Do you know where she is?
I think she's still living in San Diego. I think she's got her own apartment now.
Do you know if she's married?
I know she's not married.
Not married. No kids? Or do you know one way or the other?
No, she doesn't have any kids.
Do you know where she's living in San Diego?
I don't know the exact address.
How do you know she's still in San Diego?
Because of the recent visit that she was at with my parents.
Mom writes you every week or so?
Yep.
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Okay. What kinds of things does she write to her son?
Pretty much things that are happening on the outside and usually her support and that kind of thing.
Does she tell you much about your sister?
Yeah, she would say like my sister was working at a sub sandwich place.
The letters usually come from Mom? from both mom and dad?
My dad usually writes once a month.
He doesn't write as often. What
He
do you
usually writes a big letter. Yeah.
Would you say he writes a big letter once a month and mom writes short letters once a week? Is that what you mean? Or
No, my mom writes like medium letters.
what do you make of the fact that dad doesn't write as much?
I think that's kind of his personality. Is that he's kind of distinct.
What do you think mom and dad feel about having a son who was arrested and in jail, arrested for the shootings? How do you think that's affected them?
Negatively.
Can you expand on that?
I don't know what to say.
Speculate a little for me, would you? Kind of try to put yourself in their place, or what you think is going on with them when they think about it.
I guess it makes them sad.
Do you know how they first found out about the shooting?
They were called on the night of the shooting.
Do you have any idea how they reacted?
They contacted lawyers to try and get a lawyer for me.
How about their reacting inside? How do you suppose they reacted?
That they were troubled by it.
It's a kind of a vague word. Can you be more specific about what you think they might have felt inside?
Grief, maybe.
How do you think you would have reacted if it were your son?
I want to help them as soon as possible.
Any other reactions?
I'd be sad as well.
Sad for? Can you flesh that out a bit?
Sad for my son getting incarcerated.
Flesh it out a little more. Would you?
I don't know.
If Hemingway were writing about it, like the video that y'all did, All Quiet on the Western Front, what might Hemingway have written about what the parents think and feel when they get that call and over the next few hours?
That they'd be tear-stricken and kind of taken by surprise.
Going back to childhood a little bit more. You came back to San Diego in middle school. Tell me where you were up north. What was the
A place
community?
called Salinas.
In Salinas, okay. That's north and toward the coast? No, it's over the coast range from the coast, isn't it? Or am I wrong?
It's near the coast.
Okay. What was Salinas like?
It was pretty agricultural. They grew lots of strawberries, artichokes. And job up there.
What sort of job?
Doing the statistical work for the ASVAB testing.
For
ASVAB testing. That's the testing to see like where people in the military should be placed.
okay. And what was home like in Salinas?
Peaceful, rural. Active. It was pretty active there.
Show me the video. Show me the video in my mind so I can see.
Well, I played capture the flag in the canyon with my friends. And played basketball. And flag football, that kind of thing.
Was your house in town or outside of town?
It was also kind of suburban, so it was outside of the town.
Okay. What kind of house was it that time?
Single story, thatched roof. Pretty typical kind of house.
Thatched roof.
I don't know if that's the correct term or not. Just like the wooden shingle roof.
Okay. Okay. Did you have your own room?
Yep.
And how would you describe the family in that home?
Typical.
I don't know what typical is.
That's what the mainstream is.
Every family's different. Tell me what family in that home was like.
Active. Very busy, energetic.
Doing what?
Just going about your day. Kind of thing.
But I don't know what the day was to go about. You're the one that's picturing it in your mind, and I can't see the picture.
Right. I can't transfer pictures in my mind.
Try. Tell me what you're seeing in your mind.
Making pizzas. Digging holes in the ground. Kind of creating a water park.
That sounds interesting. Tell me about that.
Well, I get a shovel and dig a giant hole and then fill it up with water and jump inside of it.
A homemade water park.
Yep.
Okay. I'll bet the water wasn't crystal clear.
Not very muddy.
Where's Mom when you're digging the hole in the backyard or wherever you dug the hole?
In the house, doing whatever it is she does.
Where's Chris?
Either digging the hole with me or watching TV.
So little sister sometimes did things with Big Brother.
Yep.
Did she go by Chris or Chrissy? Or?
She went by Chrissy, but then later she wanted to go by Chris.
And how about you? What were you called around the house?
Oh, when I was little, I was Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Yep.
At home and school, or
Yep, everywhere.
when did Jimmy become James?
College.
How did that change come about?
I don't know if there was an evolution of it or not. It just kind of sort of changed since it was a new environment. And that was my given name, was James. That kind of became what I was called.
Usually people call you what you introduce yourself as.
Yeah, so I guess I introduced myself as James.
Is there a difference between the way James sounds and the way Jimmy sounds?
Jimmy sounds littler.
I agree. call you Jimmy?
Oh, I don't know what they call me. I think they call me James.
Okay. What did they call you the last time they were here?
Jim.
What does your mom call you when she says dear blank on the letters?
Oh. I guess it's Jimmy. I don't know.
Okay. How about your dad? How does he start the letters?
I think it's Jimmy as well.
Is that okay with you, or would you
Yeah,
sometimes correct them?
No,
Okay. The neighborhood in Salinas was, what kind of neighborhood? You said the word suburban.
yeah, it was a good neighborhood. We knew our neighbors and everything.
Okay. What kinds of people were they?
One ran like a jewelry shop, and the other was a kind of artist at a penitentiary.
An artist at a penitentiary.
He teaches like an art class at the penitentiary.
That's an interesting neighbor to have. And the kids you played with, what were they like?
Typical rambunctious kids.
Were you one of the rambunctious ones? Or no?
Yep.
What's rambunctious mean in Salinas, California?
Very energetic, kind of always doing something.
Like what? Besides digging holes and filling them with water and jumping?
Playing video games.
More video games than outside, or more outside than video games?
When I was a kid, it was more outside.
How about in high school?
It was video games more.
Would you say your video game career in high school was similar to your friends, or more or less?
I'd say similar.
How about in college?
Then I was mostly working, but it was still more video games than outside.
Did there come a time when your relationship with your mom changed as you grew up? Changed significantly?
No, I think we've always been close.
Okay. How about with your father? Did there come a time when that relationship changed in any particular significant way over those years?
No, it stayed pretty much the same.
And what would that relationship with your father have been back then? What are the adjectives you'd use to describe it?
Well, he was my soccer coach for a number of years. And I don't know.
What's it like having a father who's the coach? He's coaching everybody, including you, I would imagine. But he's also your dad. What's that like?
It's pretty normal.
I don't know what you mean.
Well, I don't know, he's just kind of a dad and a coach.
Was he fair?
Yeah.
Did he favor you over the other kids?
No, he was fair.
Did he disfavor you over the other kids, just to be fair?
No, not really.
What are the three nicest things your dad ever did for you?
Well, we paid for most of my car payment. I paid $1,000. He paid like $7,000. Took me to the beach. Had ice cream and stuff. elementary school.
When was the last time you can remember going to the beach with Dad or with family?
Years ago.
Years. What was the last family thing you remember doing with family?
Christmas in Arizona with my uncle and family.
And about how old were you then?
23.
Tell me about that Christmas trip.
Well, there wasn't any snow in Arizona.
Darn.
We just drove up together and spent the Christmas together.
Would that have been when you were staying with your folks, or was that after you came
That was once I came to Colorado.
to Colorado? So you went back home for Christmas,
Yeah.
or back to San Diego for Christmas, and then to Arizona to spend it with your uncle, and who all was with your uncle's family?
It was only him.
Just your uncle.
Yeah.
Your mother's brother?
Yes.
Was he sick at that time?
He had like a rare cancer in his eye or something. He had to go to UCLA for treatment.
I'm aware that one of her brothers, or maybe her only brother, passed away.
She has two brothers, but yeah, that was the brother. He got cancer in his liver and then he passed away.
Okay, so that was the brother who died.
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody was living with him in Arizona? An aunt
His
or cousin?
wife was, so my aunt, she had like a brain aneurysm. And she had like some susceptible like, brain aneurysm condition in her family.
So was she deceased by that time? Or
Yeah, she was deceased.
Did they have kids?
No.
Okay. Do you have any cousins?
Yep, I have two.
Okay. Where are they from? Which people?
They're from my mother's other brother. And I think they're living in Iowa now. Or Idaho now.
Oh, gee, way up here. So there would be your Uncle Andy and your Uncle Dexter on your mother's side.
Uncle Dexter was the one with cancer.
And on your dad's side, you have Uncle James, who you may have been named after, I suppose,
I don't know if they named me after.
and Aunt Betty. And then, tell me again, I'm sorry, I forgot the cousins. Two cousins.
Stephanie and Holly.
What are they like? And were you close to them?
Yeah, we had a trip together in Lake Tahoe with the family. They were going to do kayaking or something, but it was super windy, so they didn't. We went to miniature golf instead.
That's quite a step down from kayaking. Miniature golf. Kayaking's up here, miniature golf is down
I
here.
guess so.
Unless
You
you're
wanna
really
really-
into miniature golf. Yeah.
But it was too windy for the little kids to do kayaking.
Roughly how old were you at that time?
I think I was 20.
And the cousins are about how old?
I think they're about 10 years younger.
So they were alike.
Yeah.
Did they communicate with you at all in college or send you letters at Jan?
No.
Any idea what's happened to them?
I think they moved to Idaho.
Any idea what they're doing?
Probably learning how to drive.
Based on their age?
Yeah, basically.
Any other family things that you remember? Wait a minute, I'm going to go back and do the same thing with your mom as I did with your dad. You nicely told me three things three most important things your dad did. Here are the three most important things that you can think of that your mom has done for you.
Well, wrote me letters. Took me to the zoo during like a Where's Waldo adventure thing. Made spaghetti together.
Took you to the zoo, roughly what age?
7 or 8.
Okay. And the Where's Waldo adventures would be
After the
at the zoo. Oh. And making spaghetti together. That's the one I'm going to pick for you to tell me more about.
Okay, well, we were boiling spaghetti, and then she had test to see if it was al dente, and she threw a piece of spaghetti onto the cabinet, and kind of, she left it there, and then when she took it off, it stripped the paint of the cabinet.
Really? So you were about how old then? Little kid or big kid?
Old enough to cook.
Was she teaching you to make spaghetti, or was she just letting you help her with this?
A bit of both, I think.
Were there other times when she taught you things?
Yeah.
Like what?
I can't remember.
Try a little bit. What else did she teach you? Your mom?
Some art projects.
I'm sorry?
Art projects.
Art project.
No, art.
Art project. Okay. I told you I was a little deaf. What sorts of art projects?
Like paper mache stuff, tie-dye t-shirts.
Was it just you that she was teaching, or was it other people too?
My little sister too.
Sorry?
My little sister as well.
Little sister too. So you'd make paper mache at home?
Yeah, stuff like that, like Easter egg coloring, that kind of thing.
How old are you at these times when she's teaching you art projects?
7 or 8.
Good memories?
Yep.
So do you still do any of that? The art projects, the cooking?
I do the cooking, I don't do the art project.
Before you went to jail, what did you like to cook?
Pizza, rice and chili, and chicken.
Surprised you mentioned pizza. You're talking about making pizza from scratch?
No, not when I was cooking. Initially, we made pizza from scratch for like this school thing, to like feed everybody in the class or something. She helped with that. But since then, I do the frozen pizza cooking because it tastes better.
A little easier too, I imagine.
Yeah.
Did you cook much in college?
Once I got my own apartment, I cooked more. Not in the dorms though, because they feed you a meal plan.
Yeah. Ever cook for other people in college or in grad school when you had your own apartment? Did you cook much for other people?
Once I cooked for others. I was on Valentine's Day for my girlfriend.
What did you cook on Valentine's Day for your girlfriend?
Kind of French fried onion chicken with mixed vegetables and rice.
French fried onion chicken.
There's like some topping, like French fried onions that you can put on chicken.
Okay.
Makes it tasty.
And did you? How was the cooking? How was the chicken prepared?
Baked.
So you baked the chicken.
Yep.
French fried onion on top,
topping on it. Yeah.
and had mixed vegetables. What else?
I had shrimp and then ice cream.
I was going to say your girlfriend's going to expect dessert,
Yeah.
and that was the ice cream.
Yeah.
Where did you do that?
In my apartment.
At your apartment. And when was that?
Valentine's Day. I don't know which year, but whichever year I was in graduate school.
It was in grad school, so it was in Colorado.
Yeah.
And which girlfriend was it? Was that Gargi?
Yeah.
Okay. How did that evening turn out?
Okay.
Good Valentine's Day?
Yep.
You got to tell me more than just yep for Valentine's Day. Tell me more.
Well, I don't usually celebrate Valentine's Day.
But you were that at the time.
Yeah.
So tell me more about the dinner and the evening with Gargi.
Well, I lit candles. Good smelling candles. And then we watched videos on Netflix.
Sounds like a nice evening. Good smelling candles. The candles were because you liked the candles or because you thought she might like the candles?
Because I like the candles.
You like the candles. Okay. And who picked the Netflix movies?
I don't remember what we picked or watched.
Do you remember who picked them?
I think she did.
You may not remember the exact movie, but what kind of movie do you suppose it was?
Well, we watched Saturday Night Live music videos. So they had like music videos.
Music. Do you like music?
Yeah,
What kind of music do you like?
electronic music.
Really?
Yeah.
Electronic as in techno or
Yeah,
electronic
techno.
as in synths?
Techno music.
Really?
Yeah.
I know nothing about techno music.
I don't know that much about it.
Tell me more about the kind of music that techno is or that you like.
It's just got a rhythmic repetition to it. And it's usually a lot of keyboard and kind of electronic sound.
Do you like it with the video or do you like it just the music
I like it just
through the headphones? Okay. You like it better with headphones or you like it?
Yeah, I usually listen to it privately.
Okay. And that was really my question. Thank you. Yeah. If you were by yourself listening to it, would you tend to use phones or would you tend to use a speaker?
Headphones.
So when you're doing that, what do you get into? What are those thoughts that you get into when the music is all between your ears, nothing outside that?
It kind of helps me focus, so I use it a lot when I was reading academic journals to kind of wash out excess sounds.
And when listening to it, bringing the knowledge in through your eyes was okay. It didn't distract you from your reading.
No,
Any other kind of music you like?
just pop music, stuff that's on the car stereo.
Any favorite artists or writers?
Katy Perry, I guess.
Going back into college, even back to high school, what kind of music did you like? And who were the artists that you liked?
Still electronic music. There's an artist like Tiesto. Tiesto. He's an electronic
Can you spell it?
Tiesto.
So the name is Tiesto. It's not initials, it's Tiesto.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have to go look that up.
Okay.
enjoy dancing to the techno music or just listening?
No, I'm not a dancer.
Not an answer at all?
No, not really.
Ever been dancing?
No.
Okay. Was Gargi a dancer? Did she like to dance?
She wasn't an dancer either.
Other girls that you've been out with, and I don't know who they are, can you name some other girls that you've been out with in college or high school?
All the others have been friends.
So going out with a friend, not a quote date, or am I wrong?
Going out with a friend instead of a girlfriend, kind of thing.
When about was the first person you would consider a girlfriend date or somebody that you wanted to become a girlfriend date? If that makes sense.
That was probably graduate school with Gargi.
Okay. So in college there wasn't anybody that you know, I'm saying that badly. In college, you didn't particularly want to develop a relationship with a girl?
I did, but she wanted to be friends.
Okay. Okay. And it takes two, doesn't it?
Yes.
It does. Tell me about her wanting to be a friend. Tell me about that situation.
Well, she just didn't show any romantic interest.
Say that again?
She didn't show any romantic interest.
Okay. When was it? What kind of person was it?
When was it? It was in the beginning of undergraduate.
So what was she like?
Kind of bubbly, cheerful.
Tall, short, blonde, dark hair?
Black hair, mid-height.
What was the circumstance where you met her?
She lived in a nearby dorm.
But you've got to meet her somehow.
So I met her in the dorm setting, kind of in the common area.
So what did you do? How did you meet her, introduce yourself? What did you do?
I don't remember that stuff.
What do you think you did?
Just said hello.
Do you remember how she reacted?
I don't remember.
But you do remember some things. You do remember that you were, to use your word, romantically interested. And she apparently wasn't, right?
Yeah, she was Persian, so I think she had a cultural barrier. Her family wanted her to be with another Persian.
How hard did you try?
Not very hard.
What did you do to try?
Just spend time with her.
Ask her out?
Nope.
How about the next romantic interest? Or possibility of romantic interest?
That was probably when I was in my summer job as a camp counselor with another camp counselor.
And that was Max something camp?
Yeah, Camp Max Strauss.
Okay. So that was between a couple of years of your undergraduate?
Yeah.
Okay. Between freshman, sophomore, junior?
Well, I think it was sophomore, junior.
Okay. Tell me about that one. Tell me about that one.
Well, we went on a date to the movies. And it was just hard to get started.
Both camp counselors? do hear wild things about those camp counselors.
Yeah.
You went on a date to the movies. What happened?
We went back to the rec room at the camp. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. And we just didn't go any further.
What kind of a girl was she?
Cheerful and bubbly. Easy to talk to. Nice.
And if I were to talk with her, what would she say about what kind of a man or boy you were?
Probably that I was shy. And kind.
Kind?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me about kind.
Just being nice to her, I guess.
Did you have any other dates with her?
Yeah. We went walking around a club in Hollywood.
Now you got me interested in that club in Hollywood.
Yeah, and we didn't go inside. We walked around.
A club like what kind of
Like
club?
a dance club or something.
But you didn't go inside to dance.
No.
Do you think she wanted to?
No, I don't think so.
Where is Camp Max Strauss?
It's in Glendale, California, kind of just north of LA.
So it's a good distance from Hollywood.
Maybe like 30, 45 minutes.
So you went on a date. You need to fill in some of the blanks because I'm getting confused here. How did you get from 2 counselors to Camp Strauss to 2 young people walking around a club in Hollywood?
When we carpooled with some people who were going to the club, I actually had to drive back because they were so drunk.
Okay. And you and she decided not to go in.
Yeah.
Was it one of those clubs where the doorman might not let you in? Or could you have gone in if you wanted to?
It might have been a 21 and over club. I don't remember.
Okay. And at that point, you weren't 21 yet?
No, I was 20.
What else would she have said about you? You said shy, you said kind. What else would she have said about you?
Funny. Caring. Smart. That's about it.
So 5 adjectives
Yeah.
covers the waterfront with James Holmes. Okay. Does it really?
No, you can't sum up a person in 5 adjectives.
I agree. So give me some more to work with here.
I don't know if more will help though.
Give it a shot.
Quiet. Friendly. I don't know.
At Camp Max Strauss, lots of counselors, lots of kids, and lots of social stuff, kind of like one sees at a camp, or not.
Yeah, there's a lot of social stuff.
Tell me what kind of camp it was. I did get some information about it, but I don't remember
suburban place too, but it like borders on a mountain. There's a bunch of rattlesnakes in there.
Really?
Yeah, we had trouble once because like heard the rattlesnake rattle and all the kids wanted to get a look at the rattlesnake.
Really?
Yeah,
What happened?
kind of blocked them off from looking.
And what'd you do? Besides block them off? I mean,
Say that they shouldn't be, going towards the rattlesnakes.
so, what, did you see the rattlesnake?
Yeah,
Drive it away, kill it, let it alone? What?
no, I just left it alone.
How old were the kids roughly?
It varied in age from about 8 to 12, and they'd have their separate cabins based on age.
Counselors were in cabins with the kids or in separate cabins?
The counselors were in the cabins with their kids group, so that's kind of the group they would counsel, take them to all the activities.
For a shy guy, that sounds like a pretty social setting.
Yeah.
You got little kids running around, and you got to take care of them, and you got to teach them things, and supervise them, and work with other counselors, and is that kind of what it was like, or what was it
Pretty
like?
much. We'd sing them songs too. Like,
Really? How long were you there? Also,
Yeah, awesome.
so you'd sing them songs, the group would sing songs.
Yeah, the camp songs.
Somebody play guitar or piano.
No, it wasn't like that.
Was it like that? What was it like?
It was around a big kind of fire pit, but we didn't have any fires because it was wildfire season or whatever. So we had it about around the big pit is where all the kids would group up. And we'd take them to like breakfast or their activities or whatever.
You remember any of those songs?
Yeah.
Tell me.
I sing On Top of Spaghetti. It's a song about spaghetti.
I think I've heard it. Do you remember?
You're not going to make me sing it, right?
Oh, sure. Go ahead and sing it.
No, I don't want to sing it. Okay.
To the tune of On Top of Old Smoky, right?
On Top of Spaghetti. Oh, okay.
What's the
Smokey
tune?
the Bear is on like a different...
On Top of Old Smoky.
No, that's not what it's called.
It's not what it's called. It's On Top of Spaghetti.
Yeah.
And it's not a parody. Okay.
No, it's a short song.
Okay. Other songs that you remember?
One about Hermes the Worm. There's a song about a worm. I don't remember all the lyrics.
Kids liked it.
Yeah, it kept them occupied.
How did you enjoy being there that summer?
It was kind of stressful because I'm not that outgoing.
Did it become less stressful as time went by, or did it stay stressful pretty much the whole time?
Well, it wasn't stressful the whole time. It was just kind of, it wears down on you having to take care of so many kids.
As you look back on specifically that summer, how does it make you feel, or what does it make you think of?
Also fond memory of Abby's trying to get out there and be more social.
Do you think you were changed in any way when you went back to school in the fall because of that summer?
I was more aware of the responsibility of taking care of children.
The children were not particularly disabled or something.
They were underprivileged,
underprivileged.
so they usually wouldn't have been able to go to camp otherwise.
Okay. So they were healthy, normal kids, but somebody else was footing the bill for a week or two at camp.
Usually like one out of 10 had like ADD or something.
is meet with you this afternoon, starting about 2.
Okay.
2-3 hours. There's no particular time limit, but then tomorrow morning we'll start about 9. Then tomorrow afternoon we'll start about 2. And we can do it on Friday if we want to.
Okay.
Is that okay with you?
Yep.
Any questions you have for me before we break for lunch, etc.?
Nope.
Okay. Thanks for talking with me, and I'll see you in a couple hours.
All right.
Alrighty. Do they give you juice whenever you want it?
I don't know if it's whenever I want it. When it's convenient for them, at least.
I'll try to bring some more juice. Okay. Thank you, sir. I think they're gonna come in and deal with the camera. They'll take some of the equipment out. They'll leave some here, I think. Alrighty. I think the video person will turn the camera off when the time comes, and
Do you need to do the rest of anything before we get out of their way?
No, it's
No? That's okay, we got it.
okay. We'll start up again about 2 o'clock, okay?
And lunch time will be at least 12:30, so maybe.
Okay.
You can have to pack it up and move it out.
Okay, one of the mics drop down.
Okay.
You might see, you might check the audio, see how we picked up the sound.
All right, I'm going to turn the lights back on. All right, the record should reflect that we just finished publishing the first segment of prosecution's Exhibit P-TR-1003. Members of the jury, it's 25 after 5. I very much appreciate your patience and your willingness to stay late this afternoon, even though we ran past 5. Please remember that tomorrow, lunch is on us, okay, on the court system. So plan accordingly. Please remember that all the advisements apply overnight, and so you must comply with each and every one of them. Have a good evening, get some rest, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. Thank you. The record should reflect that the jury has exited the courtroom. Everyone may be seated. Mr. Brockler, I'm being told that whatever quality issues exist with the sound of the exhibit is on your end, not on ours. So you may want to look into that. A couple of things. Number one, is anyone asking me to give the jury an instruction about redactions? I know that I have offered in the past, and I believe Dr. Reed mentioned that one of these exhibits has been slightly redacted. So is anybody asking for that instruction?
Judge, we're not asking for that instruction. We are asking that Dr. Reed be instructed to not bring up the fact that these are redacted at all. We would just ask that he say that he's viewed the videos and that it's an accurate representation of the session that he did, and leave it at that.
I think he mentioned it already, so you're asking that he not mention it again.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any objection to that?
Objection, Your Honor. The one concern is to the extent that there were redactions that the court asked us to make that could potentially be admissible in a different setting down the road. We're going to at some point need to lay the foundation for that through this witness, because we're not going to be able to bring him back for that purpose. So if there's a way to do that, still honoring the defense's request, I'd like to pursue that.
All right. Let's do that outside the presence of the jury at some point. But in the meantime, I will instruct Dr. Reed, who's present in the courtroom, not to mention any redactions in front of the jury, please. Thank you, and he's nodding his head yes. The other issue I was going to bring up with the parties, or I want to bring up with the parties, is about speculate. The jury has heard multiple objections throughout the trial about speculation, calls for speculation, and they've heard my rulings on those objections. As you know, Dr. Reed asks the defendant to speculate during the interview at times. Dr. Metzner did the same thing. And so the jury's probably going to hear about that with Dr. Metzner. I don't know whether the parties want me to give an instruction with respect to that or whether the parties want to just handle that on their own. I'm assuming that you're going to question the experts on that topic. Mr. King, Mr. Brockler, any thoughts on that? My preference, I'll tell you that my preference would be to just let you folks handle it and ask about why that's done and whether that's a common practice in the field of psychiatry, which my understanding is that it is, and why those kinds of questions are asked. But you tell me if you want the court to provide any kind of instruction.
I do not, Your Honor.
Mr. Brockler.
Well, thank you.
All right. Is there anything else we need to talk about at this time on behalf of the people?
I have a brief matter, Your Honor, if I may.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize Mr. King had stood up. I didn't want to interrupt. I think Your Honor will recall, we had...
I think it's the Ricky Martin suit, or whatever you called it earlier.
To lapse in the song and dance.
All right, go ahead.
The defense had provided reports from Dr. Woodcock and Dr. Gore during the course of the trial, and we had filed a motion to essentially for sanctions for the late discovery of those reports. And the court had denied that, but gave us the opportunity to have rebuttal experts prepare reports. And we've already provided one from Dr. Resnick. Dr. Wellner had originally asked, I believe, until the 31st, which I think is Sunday. He is in the midst of preparing it, and he is asking for 4 more days, which is Thursday, the 4th. I've discussed this with the defense. They say they object. So I wanted to bring this up to the court today because I need to give Dr. Wellner as much notice as possible. I would note that Sunday is the 31st, and I think that when we had suggested the date, neither of us had looked at the calendar. I just will note that Saturday, the day before it would be due, is Shabbos, and Dr. Wellner is Orthodox. He don't work on Shabbos. So, and I can explain that further if the court needs more information about what that means. But I'm asking for this. I don't think the defendant would be prejudiced by 4 more days. It's not a statutory deadline or a rule-based deadline. It was what he had asked for originally, and he just says now he realizes he needs 4 more days. So I would ask for that.
So he's asking until Thursday,
Yes, Your Honor.
which would be June 4th?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, earlier, I had given an extension to one of your experts. Was that Dr. Resnick?
That was Dr. Resnick, and he had actually completed his long before the extension had expired. So we've given that to the defense already.
All right. And the extension that I had granted him was from May 17th to May 31st. Is
That's
that
right.
Okay, but his has been done.
Yes,
So it was done ahead of the May 31st deadline.
it was.
Did Dr. Wellner indicate to you why he needs 4 more days or why he's not going to be able to meet the deadline?
The indication, Your Honor, is he's in the midst of it now, and he realizes he needs more time to do an adequate report. That I believe his original estimate, he was incorrect, and he needs until the 4th.
All right. And the defense objects. Mr. King?
Yes, we do, Your Honor, and we feel like he had ample time to get this done, and more than enough time to complete this report. We were objecting to not having the report to begin with, and have been all along. So we continue to be in the dark about what Dr. Wellner's opinions are, and it prejudices us every day that we don't get a report from him. So we would object.
Well, if I remember correctly, the people moved to exclude Dr. Woodcock's report and opinions because they were provided very late. And I deny that request. My recollection is that the defense said they did not object to having Dr. Wellner and Dr. Resnick provide the reports, any rebuttal reports late. And in fact, I think the prosecution had indicated in their motion that May 17 and May 31st would be the deadlines for Dr. Resnick and Dr. Wellner respectively, and the defense did not object to that. So 4 more days, I can't see how that's going to make a difference. And given the circumstances, and given that it was Dr. Woodcock's report who was late, and that I denied the prosecution's request to exclude his opinions because I didn't think it would be fair that that evidence would be omitted from the defense's case, and I didn't think it was appropriate to hold it against the defendant that one of the experts did not provide that report in a timely fashion. I think it's appropriate to allow 4 more days for Dr. Wellner. I think that's fair, but it is just 4 more days, so he's got to get it done and make sure he knows that June 4th it will be the deadline, okay?
I'll let him know, Your Honor. Thank you
Okay,
very much.
Great. Is there anything else on behalf of the people?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Is there anything else on behalf of the defense?
No, thank you.
All right, have a good evening, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Thank you.
All rise.